It seems like people in modern day Hollywood are hell-bent on erasing the traditional masculine hero. No longer is it okay for a man to be masculine. And if you do have masculine men in your shows or in your movies, they have to be portrayed as the villain, they have to be portrayed as toxic, and they have to be portrayed as the antagonist. They want female leads, or if it is a male lead, they have to be sensitive. They have to be emotional, because it seems like the people that are in control of these creative properties now are bitter, lonely feminists, and that's definitely coming through with these narratives. But when you look at the success of something like Top Gun Maverick, absolutely a traditionally masculine hero or a masculine lead with Tom Cruise in a movie that was just about entertaining people. Men loved it, women loved it. It was absolutely amazing. Well, it seems like one of the most traditional male heroes that we have, going over 50 years, 25 movies through several different actors, James Bond, is completely and totally dead once you start seeing headlines like this. James Bond producers search for a new 007 who will commit for a decade. Bond is evolving as men are evolving. And, you know, a quote like that can kind of mean a couple different things, I suppose. It's modern day Hollywood, so I think we know what that means. But when you look at articles like this, you start to get a better idea of what exactly they're talking about. The next James Bond films will have bigger roles for women and a more sensitive 007, according to the producers. Just what everybody wants in a James Bond movie. Why even use that name anymore? Why continue to use that name to push this product if you're going to make something that is not at all like James Bond? Now, I have been critical of the Daniel Craig Bond movies, but at the same time, I think I like them a lot more than everybody else, because you kind of have to look at the Daniel Craig movies as almost not James Bond movies in and of themselves. It's like James Bond in an alternate universe. And although I loved what they did with Casino Royale, I think the fact that a 5-film story arc of Bond being hung up on one girl like that, it really hurt in the long run. They did try to do this with this James Bond. They did try to make him more emotional and more sensitive and things like that, and be in touch with that part of him. And I think some of it was good, some of it was bad, but there's no doubt people are hungry for it to get back to just being James Bond. But instead of doing that, they're going to do the exact fucking opposite. I had to archive this because it's behind a paywall, but here we go on the Telegraph. The next James Bond will be more in touch with his feelings, producers say. Producers said Daniel Craig's successor will continue the work of cracking Bond open emotionally as the franchise seeks to evolve. That is the opposite of what this franchise should do. It is okay to have traditional male heroes. It's okay, there's a demand for that. Everyone is so obsessed with finding this like mythical new audience. Oh, with Star Wars, you know what we have to do? We have to make it more accessible for women. So let's alienate all of the men and all of the women who are already Star Wars fans, and let's try to change this property. That's what they tried to do a little bit with the Daniel Craig era of James Bond, and it's what they're going to continue to do. They're going to double and triple down on this. And let's just be frank, if this is the route they're going, if they're going to be that far detached, this is not James Bond. Why is Hollywood so obsessed with the destruction of traditional men? The next James Bond films will have bigger roles for women and a more sensitive 007, according to producers, who said Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. Barbara Broccoli said the next actor to take the role will continue the work of Daniel Craig, who cracked Bond open emotionally. Craig's last film, No Time to Die, humanized Bond by making him a devoted family man. It also featured media roles for female agents, including Lashana Lynch as a fellow secret agent. Asked by Variety if those qualities would continue, Broccoli agreed. It's an evolution. Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. I don't know who's evolving at a faster pace. Broccoli's director of UK chapter of Time's Up, Time's Up Me Too, which describes itself as an independent intersectional organization focused on rooting out sexual harassment at its source, the power imbalance that leaves women unequal in every industry. They're so focused on trying to virtue signal. They're so focused on, oh, let's do the right thing from a PR standpoint. You know, there's some people out there that might get upset because James Bond might be considered a womanizer. Oh no, let's do what we can to stop the backlash for that. You know what? You should ignore that backlash and you should just make the movies based on the source material. You should just make these movies based off the people that have been watching for 5 decades. Hell, it might be 60 years old at this point. Dr. No was in like 1962 or 1963, right around there with Sean Connery. You're talking about 6 decades. worth of James Bond movies, 25 different movies. There is a fan base there. There is an audience there. But you want to do everything you can to push them away and emasculate James Bond, emasculate traditional male strong heroes. That's what the goal is in Hollywood. It is fucking obvious at this point. And as you could see, look at the reaction. 500 quote tweets to 646 likes. I don't know what the replies look like. 1,700 replies. They are getting destroyed. And you think this is a good idea? You think this is going to open you up to a new audience? You are fucking kidding yourselves. I do think the Daniel Craig era had some really, really good filmmaking in it. It did some interesting things with James Bond. However, I also think it's obvious that the vast majority of the audience wants to revert to more traditional James Bond. And when you look, again, at the box office results, look at the box office results for Top Gun Maverick. That's all people want right now. Like, you should be trying to go after that same audience. Like, Bond has that potential. James Bond has absolutely the potential to do numbers like we saw for Top Gun Maverick. It's easy. It's not that difficult. But if these are the people who are in charge and this is what they want to do, then James Bond is absolutely dead. Not a doubt about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.